All right. And as we get started, let me share my screen. All right. I'm excited today to be obviously the Baltimore Veterans Collaborative. We're going to focus on employment resources. So excited to obviously partner with several organizations on this collaborative, including our partners at Headstrong, Baltimore Station, Shepherd Pratt, the Weinberg Foundation, and the Baltimore Federal Executive Board. So those representatives will be helping me out today on the various components of this meeting. So we'll be getting kind of started and kind of want to lay the groundwork for this conversation in terms of why we're kind of bringing up employment resources and kind of really what we're seeing in the landscape in terms of veteran needs when it comes to employment. So with that, I'm going to share just a little bit of data that we're seeing from our team at Serving Together, especially when it comes to our peer navigation services. So over the past several years within our team, within our peer navigation team, we have served about 1,700 clients, various service needs that are being addressed by those clients. So about 4,800 service requests, the top needs that we're seeing are housing and shelter, employment, income support, and individual and family support. And typically a lot of those co-occur. We're seeing a lot of co-occurrence between these top four needs. And almost always does employment fall within the top one or two needs. We have multiple clients that are calling us and needing assistance with employment, which really significantly impacts their housing, their shelter, the need for rent or financial assistance, or even connection to other resources, which we really help to do in terms of a holistic approach to their needs. And so they may call us about one thing, but we're really going to dig in and talk to them about other needs that they have as well to help, look at all of the different angles that we can help support them with. So kind of looking specifically at employment, some of the things that we're noticing, especially when it comes to top referral needs, majority of the time they're looking for job search and placement. So almost always are we connecting them to a provider or an organization that really can help with searching for employment opportunities or applying for jobs, or helping them kind of navigate different career opportunities that may be available to them. So it's really kind of the most risen need that we're seeing in the employment space. But then we also trickle that in and try and help understand from the client kind of where they're at in their current landscape when it comes to employment. Have they been connected to job training opportunities or career skills development opportunities? Maybe they could look into internships and work experience, or maybe further their education. So I put on here kind of the top referral needs in that kind of middle section at the bottom. And I put in here kind of what we're seeing in terms of the top co-occurring needs on the bottom left. When it comes to our work at Serving Together, we also look at what it looks like when we're connecting a client to a provider, kind of what that resolution rate looks like. And right now we're seeing it at around 70%. So when we're able to refer a client to a provider, about 70% of the time we're able to get them matched up to a provider to have a more positive outcome. Typically right now it's taking us about 7.5 days to match the client to a provider. And we always look at these numbers because we want to decrease them and get them to a better place where we're connecting the right client to the right partner as quickly as possible. So we try and look at these numbers over time to see that we're decreasing them and that we're having more positive resolution. So the difference between the first number and this second green number, the case resolution rate, is when we turn that referral into a case. That means we have referred it to a partner, that partner is accepting it, and now that is a case. We're seeing an 86% case resolution rate, a positive, more favorable resolution that client's needs are being met by that provider. So again, things that we look at to make sure that they're connected to the right place. And then those providers, as they close out a case, when we look at the average time for closing out a case, it's around about 17 and a half days. And so we're looking at ways that we can shrink those numbers and get us to a better situation where we can get those clients connected to employment, connected to employment resources more quickly and seamlessly as possible. So put all of that out there because I want to kind of just lay the landscape of kind of what we're seeing from our end, and we're doing more research as we look at Central Maryland and as our numbers grow in this region, especially within Baltimore, and be able to kind of provide you guys updates on that as we progress. And so with that, as we kind of move into talking about employment and kind of what this collaborative is all about, we want to do a quick meet and greet. So I'm going to turn it over to Anne to kind of facilitate the introduction for this, and then I will move you guys into breakout rooms.
Thank you so much, Christy. That was a really insightful overview that sets the context for our conversation. So thanks for providing that. And to answer a question in the chat, yes, it is through the Unite Us platform. So how about we want to do some intro activities that kind of simulate what it would be like if we were to meet in person and just talk to each other as humans as we get our coffee or donuts or whatever have you. And Christy, can you stop sharing your screen? And then we can all see each other. There you go. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick breakout, maybe about 3 minutes or so, where you'll meet 2 other people. So in breakouts of 3 people, and just asking each other, how are you? Who are you? How's your day going? So we have some question prompts though. One of the questions that you can ask each other is, what are you doing to take care of yourself as you address so many needs in the community? So how are you taking care of your own self as you're taking care of other veterans and military families in your community? Another question prompt that might be helpful would be, what is an area that you are working on personally this year that will help you in your job? So feel free to discuss those or not. I'll put those in the chat real quick so that you have them handy. Let's see here. And Christy, why don't you go ahead and break us up into 3s?
Absolutely. Give me just 1 second. I'm trying to move people around so that you guys can have a good opportunity to meet various people.
And the questions are in the chat. And sorry, we don't have donuts. Next time. I feel like it's close.
All right.
I give next for the donuts.
Welcome back to the larger crew. I wish we can keep doing more and more of that because I want to meet more of you in those groups. But for now, I think we'll move on. We want to do a quick poll to see who's in the room. And so Christy, you'll see a poll come up and just pick one that you most identify with. I'm going to pick philanthropic funder because I actually didn't introduce myself to that. I'm Ann Allen. I work for the Weinberg Foundation. I'm really here to listen and learn from you all so that we can understand the needs of the veteran community. I'm really also here because I'm so, my lens is how can we create forums that develop stronger partnerships in the community so that veterans have access to the multiple services they need to reach success. Christy talked about co-occurring needs. So how do we strengthen referrals? We know that the Unite Us platform is a technology tool where you can push a button, but the real work and the programs are between all of us in the room where we work with clients and we refer them to each other. I guess the poll is closed, Christy?
Yep, I just shared it.
Great. There's a lot of VSOs and direct service providers. That's wonderful. Government, that's a good mix. In the interest of time, we really want to get to the employment panel, and then the majority is Q&A, where everyone asks lots of questions to our panelists about how to best refer and what services they have. But if you could, in the chat, if you could put, if you haven't already, your name and organization in the chat, and before you do, oh wait, hold on, don't do that yet. It's a waterfall question, right? I'm gonna count to 3 and you put this in there. So wait till I count to 3. So you'll put in your name, organization, and then answer to this question. What do you want to get out of the discussion today? So name, organization, what do you want to get out of the discussion today? That will kind of help our panelists too, kind of understand your needs and where our Q&A might go. So I'll count to 3 and then you can all enter. So 1, 2, 3. I love looking at these in the chat. Hopefully our panelists can follow along before we begin.
Everybody write fast, go. Just kidding.
All right, Matt, I guess it's you can introduce our panelists and get that going.
Sure thing, lots of great stuff. So thank you, Ann, thank you, Christy, thank you everybody for being here. We know it's a 9 a.m. meeting and we thank everybody for being here, but it's so important what we're doing here. You know, what we're trying to do. And note, it's not Ann, it's not Christy, it's not myself, it's not just one person here. It's going to take all of us to do this. So today we have, actually, before I get into that, I'll explain who I am. Matt Gerskevich, I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Headstrong Project. And basically we are a mental health provider, specifically in the greater Baltimore region, but we're also national, and I won't go into all of that. So my role here is to help run the panel, run the discussion a little bit. So think of those great questions, what you want to ask these individuals and these experts. Please note too, there are different providers here from different levels. You know, a job is not a job, and a career is totally different than a job. There's different strokes for different folks, and we try to represent that here as well. So today we have MOED, which is a local partner, local provider there. We have VetJobs or CASY, which is national, and then NPower, which is kind of national and local with their model, and then the VA VR&E program, which is again national but also helps local as well. So again, we have different strokes for different folks. So please pay attention, and then you know, gear those questions up because we'll have time for that Q&A. So first person up, we're going to go to Mr. Craig Lewis with MOED. Craig, would you like to begin, sir?
Yes, good morning, and thank you for the invitation to come and be a part of this conversation. My name is Craig Lewis. I'm the Assistant Director, Chief of Adult Services with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, and I oversee our one-stop career centers, and happy to roll through some of this information and look forward to some questions at the end. Next slide, please. And so very quickly, our vision at the Mayor's Office of Employment Development is to really serve our employer community and empower our job seekers and really bring both together, working with our community partners, and create a workforce system that works. Next slide, please. And so we have 2 comprehensive one-stop career centers, one on the east side of town and one at Mondawmin Mall on the 3rd level. And essentially in our career centers, what we do is we have a robust menu of services that we provide to Baltimore City residents, really to empower them with the in-demand skills that they need to compete for in-demand jobs. And we do that through a variety of ways, providing job readiness, resume preparation, computer literacy, referrals to occupational skills training and job placement assistance. Next slide, please. Very important to mention, we have a number of workforce partners, one-stop partners that are co-located in our centers to make sure that we're providing the appropriate wraparound services that our participants, residents, clients need. Some of our targeted populations include those previously incarcerated, veterans, individuals with different abilities, and also our senior community. Next slide, please. In our one-stops, we have what we call a DVOP, which is disabled veteran specialist, as well as a leaver, which is a local veteran employment representative. And also in the one-stops, we provide priority of services. And essentially that means that if there's a veteran or if there's a person that's a non-vet, that veteran gets priority of services. And essentially anyone that is currently serving or have a significant barrier to employment, that's a veteran, they qualify for services through one of our local partners, which is the Maryland Department of Labor. Next slide, please. And let me just very quickly just sort of run through how we define career services in the one-stop. We have 3 tiers. One is basic services. And essentially that is every person that walks through the door can receive basic services. And basic services might look like a couple times a month, we have employer recruitments where we bring employers on site to connect individuals with job opportunities, those who might need resume writing or computer literacy, or they just need to connect to some of our other partner services like Child Support Administration or Department of Social Services or Baltimore City Community College. Individualized services are those case managed type services where there's career counseling and coaching. And we talk a lot about the labor market information because our goal is to educate our job seekers about the labor market so they're making informed decisions about their career choices. And then training services is where we actually fund someone to go to a community college or a proprietary school. We fund that training up to $3,000. In some cases, we might go up to $5,000 as long as that training can be completed in 1 year and it's in a high growth, high demand industry. And just to touch on one other point that came up around the needs in terms of work experience. Right now, we have a program that's called Hire Up. And Hire Up is where we're actually subsidizing someone's work experience up to 6 months. We're paying $15 an hour for 35 hours a week. And our goal is to put about 900 people through this program. And really that's putting people to work immediately so that they can acquire those work skills that they need. And then along the way, we're providing benefit navigation and coordinated care so that we can quickly connect them to other full-time opportunities before their subsidized employment runs out. And so with that, I know I had 3 to 5 minutes. So next slide, please. To make a referral, we are users on the Unite Us platform. And so you can make a referral within the platform to either one of our locations, but also you can go to our website, MOED, .baltimorecity.gov and go to the assistance request form, fill out that form. It's going to land on somebody's desk. They'll follow up with a phone call to schedule you for services with one of our career professionals. Thank you for the opportunity.
Right, Mr. Lewis. Thank you so much. Very good information. We much appreciate it. So up next, we have VetJobs, or also previously known as CASY. So we have Sandy here. Sandy, you're up, man. Why don't you give everybody the rundown of what the great stuff VetJobs does?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm Sandy Artman with VetJobs, VetJobs and Military Spouse Jobs. We are the premier employment and career progression agency in the world, basically, nonprofit. We don't charge for our services. We assist military affiliated candidates, which is a veteran from any era, Guard, Reserve, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, makes no difference, transitioning veteran, spouses, current spouses, divorced spouses, widowed spouses, even fiancés, dependent children, and wounded caregivers, and all ROTC cadets. I affectionately call us the silent 800-pound gorilla in the room because we don't market and we don't have any brick and mortar. We are a global virtual employment and career progression agency or nonprofit made up of all veterans and spouses, very good at what we do, identifying gaps and getting people into careers, not just a job, and helping them career pivot. If that may be the case, we do direct job connections with employers, and then we also house the most complete, comprehensive job board in the world with over 4 million jobs globally from over 4,000 employers. And that job board is informed through our relationships with the Department of Labor, the Direct Employers Association, individual employers, and others. And so that job board is updated nightly, and those are all current and open jobs. And again, free services. Anybody that is military affiliated, as I defined, can use our services. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandy. Just to remind everybody as well, you guys also have a large training portion as well around Ingenuity, right? Can you explain a little bit around that?
Yeah, well, as long as I got time. I mean, I was trying to be brief.
You're good, man. You got 2 more minutes.
Okay, Ingenuity is our training platform. It's a 3-tiered training platform. So if you're working with somebody that wants to do a career pivot, or you're working with somebody that needs to, get spun up on agility or whatever the case may be, Ingenuity is a 3-tiered training platform, all free, that every candidate is eligible for, spouse, as I defined, and everything from A to Z for certifications, badges for their LinkedIn profile or their resume, so they can learn and be more knowledgeable on certain aspects. Again, everything from A to Z, vetted content, Coursera and Udemy licenses for free, you name it. It's all in Ingenuity, and that's found under the candidate tab on our website. And again, I can't say enough about Ingenuity. It's exploded on us in the last year. Over 20,000 courses, I believe it is, that are in there. And we had over 30,000 people go in there last year and take some form of individual, that's just 30,000 individual trainings. They could have taken 5 trainings, but we only count 1 for metric purposes. But so, candidates, there are a lot of great programs out there that offer certifications and things like that. These are free, and you can take as many as you want. We're not a one and done. So if you want more than 1 certification, more than 1 badge, candidates are welcome to just, as long as they have brain matter that they need to fill, they can take this Ingenuity and learn about anything they want to learn about constantly, continuously. Even you, if you're military affiliated and you want to go up for promotion, but you need a certification, go into Ingenuity if you're military affiliated and get that certification or get that badge to make you more knowledgeable and more competitive for that promotion.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sandy. Great stuff. I mean, you guys are going to see a trend here over the next 2 providers, but Christy, we'll move along to our next one.
I have
so
a
up next. Yeah, Stan, going ahead.
Could I get the email, the website for VetJobs so I
I
can
put
look
it
at
in
it?
the chat. It's in the
Okay.
chat if you scroll up in the chat.
Got it. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So up next, we have NPower, with Mr. Demetrius Goodwin. So Demetrius, you want to come on and tell us about the great work that NPower is doing?
Yes, thank you. Of course, Demetrius Goodwin here again, Executive Director here for the NPower Maryland region, and former vet myself. I was telling Stan and Craig, I'm an old signal, well, maybe not old, getting old Signal Corps guy. 31 Romeo with the U.S. Army, and been serving here with NPower for the last 4 years. As the slide states, we're a national nonprofit, and we want to serve as kind of a link between that non-traditional job seeker and those employers looking to hire those non-traditional job seekers from both the veteran and our young adult community. Our mission is centered around who we are. We want to provide those pathways to digital prosperity and careers for the military veterans, spouses, and I'll highlight that as well, and our young adults. As you see here, we operate here locally in Baltimore. We have 2 site locations here, and then 10 other site locations around the country. And we even have a sister location there in Toronto. Now, what we do as an organization is we provide free IT and tech training. We want to provide a kind of IT career skill pathway for our trainees as they come through the program. And again, we've been doing that for the past about 20 years. Next slide. So how do we do what we do? Well, again, like I said, we offer free IT training tech programs. Now, the one I highlighted here on the left-hand side is our Tech Fundamentals program. And it is a 20-week training program where our trainees go through now certification-based and certificate-based curriculum. So as you see at the bottom there, it's geared toward the CompTIA IT Fundamentals Plus, the CompTIA A+, as well as 2 Google IT training certificates. Right now, our training is virtual, but it is instructor-led. So you will be live with a person or instructor every day of the week. And again, in addition to the actual training, we also have paid placement opportunities and career placement opportunities as well. So we have a team dedicated to that. And also, as part of that 360 approach, we do have what we call social support managers that are with the trainees, literally from the time of interview throughout the program, doing check-ins or any type of resource referral that the trainee may need. And of course, some of that will bleed over to some of these other organizations that are here today as well. That's on the Unite Us platform. As far as eligibility, we're looking for currently serving currently serving veterans as well as Army discharge veterans. If you're a military spouse, I think as someone else mentioned, if you're skills rich eligible, so you're a transitioning vet within that 180-day period, we want to talk to you. We also serve across, or DoD skills bridge approved across all 5 branches, and as well as we serve those in the National Guard and Reserves as well. You should have the availability to attend classes Monday through Friday on a part-time basis, either 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We don't require any tech background to attend our classes. Now, there may be some vets and spouses that have more of a tech background and may even have some of these certs I talked about. We do have a program that could be more advanced. Basically, our advanced training program centered around cyber or cloud. So we definitely want to talk to you as well to see if you could, essentially skip that tech fundamentals and go directly into the advanced training. Going back to the CompTIA certifications, I forgot to mention now, we do provide paid vouchers to go and test for those certifications and those certificates. Again, all on NPower. And last but not least, how do you find us? Of course, we're listed on Unite Us as a service provider, but I also listed here our website, which essentially is www.npower.org. And you're more than happy to email us. It'll reach myself and also the recruitment team with any questions that you may have. And I provided a direct contact information for our senior recruitment manager, Mr. Kyle Wise. He's more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Next slide, please. And then finally, just wanted to show some success, point out some success that we have had. You can see that 80% of our students who enroll in the program do graduate. And then there's an average of 384% salary increase for veterans or graduates nationwide. And that's that percentage is actually even higher here in the Maryland region. And then of course, across the network, you can see the breakdown as far as demographics. We do 30% women, 70% Black or Latino, as well as 40% veteran training participation. And then we also have, of course, veterans like myself that are positioned throughout NPower leadership here in this region, and of course, in the other regions here in the US. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Demetrius. Man, what a huge jump in employment or compensation rates there. That's unbelievable. So last panelist here today is going to be the VA's, Veteran Affairs VR&E program. This is a hidden gem in the VA. A lot of people don't know about it. So with that, I'll pass it over to Joshua Pittinger. And Josh, I'll leave it over to you, man.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. Special thanks to Cynthia for inviting me to this panel. So what is our program? As Matt said, we are sort of a hidden gem within the VA. We used to be vocational rehabilitation and employment, and about a year ago, we went through a name change. So you can see at the bottom there, we're now Veteran Readiness and Employment. So the acronym's still the same for all of those since we've been around for a while, but I just wanted to point that out. And we are an employment focused program. We help transitioning service members and veterans with service-connected disabilities. So in order to apply for the program, the veteran the veteran has to have a disability rating of at least 10%. And the service members, if they're going through the med board process, they have to have a proposed rating in order to qualify. So what we do is we help individuals obtain, maintain suitable employment. And our services may include short and long-term training, the purchases of required supplies and equipment, and also on-the-job training. So what we try to do is we get individuals, we assess what their skills, abilities, interests, and disabilities are, and try to train them at the maximum extent possible. So this could include a small certification program all the way up to a doctoral program, depending on the needs of the individual. So all of our services are individualized. So we get a lot of, oh, my buddy got this or that as far as services, and that veteran may want the same thing. And not all two veterans are created equal, even if they have the same disability, because everybody is an individual. So we really try to strive for that individuality in the plans, and our VRCs do a great job of matching up the veterans with their skills and the training program to make sure that they have the maximum success. And our 5 tracks, so reemployment is a job that the veteran may have had before they were called to active duty, and they want to try to get back into that field. So we can be that conduit to help talk to the hiring manager to get that veteran back into that employment. Most of our, like 80% of our veterans that we work with are in the rapid access to employment, and that's where they would sit down and we would put them through a career scope where it shows what their skills and abilities and interests are. It's like an aptitude test, and then that matches them up with what theoretically what they would be good at. And so that's where the college training or technical training comes into play. Self-employment is for the small percentage of veterans that may have tried to work in the workforce and it's just not working for whatever reason. Maybe they need a flexible work schedule that only they're able to provide as far as working for themselves, or some just because of working for people just isn't their thing. So they've tried that in the past. So in order to qualify for self-employment, they have to sort of have a track history of trying traditional employment and it doesn't work out. And then independent living services. This isn't an employment focused thing, but it is something we provide. So I wanted to throw it in there. This is for those veterans that have a severe disability and they're unable to work. So they may need an accommodation to their house or their vehicle versus is all about. And then more of the long-term services. I put this in here because our services, it can be for life. So just because a veteran went through our services and got employment, if they are with that job for 10 years and then something goes wrong, either their disability progresses and gets worse and they can no longer do that job, or the employment doesn't work out and they're struggling to try to find employment, our door is always open so they can reapply for services. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh.
Also, I wanted to, sorry, I forgot to add this part. I'll put it in the chat, but veterans, most of them self-refer through va.gov, and they can fill out an application form to apply for our services. And then really the ideal candidate for us, first, they have to have a service-connected disability. And the second thing is they just have to want to work. I'm not a veteran, but I am a person with a disability. And I've always said for years that disability is a great equalizer, that it puts people with disabilities on the same playing field as their non-disabled peers. So I am, and our staff are passionate about serving veterans and making sure that everybody gets the job that they really want. And also, as far as our service area, we cover all of Maryland except for Prince George's and Montgomery counties that's served by our DC office.
Right. Thanks, Josh. Stan, I see your hand raised. Go on ahead, man.
Yeah, have you connected with Project Opportunity?
I have not. And that's really why I'm here is to give information, but also to make connections as well. So
Again, Project Opportunity provides information for veterans to do self-employment, and they've been around for a while. So again, if you need me, I can connect you with them.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Stan. Thanks, Josh. Great stuff today. So I know there's been a lot of questions that have been coming through the chat. We will open the floor for anybody who has additional questions here. If not, for the sake of time, we'll continue moving forward. What I do want to point out here is between the four of the partners that we had here, and actually, Christy, can we stop sharing the screen momentarily just so we can see everybody else? Thanks. For the four partners that we had here today, there's different levels, right? There's different layers to employment. It's not just a job. You know, you have basic entry level stuff with a number of them. You also have career path advancement and training, and then you have higher level placement. You know, so even if you have somebody who just needs something that's $12 an hour for now, you have opportunities here where they can get skills to then make that huge pay jump, like Demetri has pointed out. You know, get them into IT, get them into tech, get them into folk rehab if they're disabled, things like that. So yeah, we'll open the floor for any questions. Feel free to come off mute. If there aren't any questions, then we'll proceed with next steps. So floor is everybody's right now. Stan, did you have another question? Your hand's still raised. Or are you good?
Oh, if it's raised, it's my mistake, but I might as well ask the question. Is the Veteran Staffing Network on?
I don't think so. I don't.
Okay.
Not on this call, no.
Okay, because the reason I say that is because they're a staffing agency, and we always seem to forget that there are staffing agencies who will work with veterans. And I think the Veteran Staffing Network also provides a number of services, including a career coach. So let me bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that come into employment as well. You know, my realm, it's mental health. There's a lot of stress and strain that come in. There's career coaching, life coaching. There's a ton. It's all intertwined. So employment is a huge crux or crucible of a lot of things. So good stuff. All right, Christy, we'll pass it back to you here unless anybody else has any.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
Hey, so it's Jen from Veteran Services at Shepherd Pratt. Thank you everybody for presenting today. I'm new to the realm, so I'm glad that I could be part of this. So, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this barrier, but being new to social work, I really need help with trying to find resources to hire vets that are older. So like between like 40 and 65 is my average vet. And most of my vets suffer from some type of drug abuse history or are currently struggling or just don't have those skills. I mean, it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They're battling for food and housing before they're worried about jobs. So it's kind of trying to like case manage all of that, but then also find employers that will give them a chance. And I really struggle with that because even one of my vets has like a tier 3 sex offense. So it's extremely challenging for me to find placement. What do you guys recommend, or are there programs to help kind of reintroduce vets into the workforce? And if so, what are they? Because I am desperate.
I don't mean to put Kim on the spot, but Kim, I think you might have some insights with that. I don't know, maybe with some of your folks.
Sure. Jennifer, we should probably connect offline because we work with homeless veterans suffering from chronic substance abuse. And we actually work a lot with Maryland New Directions. Are you familiar? You familiar with them?
I am not.
Okay. All right. So let's, I don't want to take up too much time. Let's, if you and I can connect after and we can talk a little further.
Sure. Yeah. If you just want to send information in private chat, then yep, that's perfect.
Yeah, and I can give you some
Thanks
resources. You're welcome. No, thanks, Cynthia. That was a very good idea. Thank you. Yep.
And if I could, again, this is Craig Lewis. Also, we have an opioid program focused on individuals directly or indirectly impacted by opioid misuse, and there's a lot of support services that are needed to address the barriers before an individual is ready for employment. And so I would recommend that we connect as well, because we have some resources that we can share with you.
Yes, thank you. And if you don't mind putting your information in the chat too, I'd be happy to send you a private email. I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yeah, any more questions along the lines that Jennifer asked so that you have what you need to understand how to refer various clients? I love that question, Jennifer.
Or if I could piggyback off of that, who else should be in this meeting? Who's dealing with these types of cases? We have a very diverse pool of experience and expertise here, beyond employment. So, that's what a collaborative is, so who else should be in these meetings as well? Cynthia, did you have another question? I see your hand still up there.
I always have another question. Yeah, I know we record these and we typically don't share these, but I feel like because there are a lot of people that aren't in the room, and to kind of bridge Stan's question with kind of your comment just now, is there's a lot of people that, whether they work in the placement side, whether they work kind of in the more holistic side, this was kind of the point, was to connect them to a few of these resources. So it wasn't just for employers or employer placement folks. It was kind of running the gamut of it. So Christy, I don't know if we're able to share the recording or if it could be posted somewhere where we can, if we can't put it, publicly, or if there's like captioning and 508 stuff that needs to happen. But if we could make it accessible, and maybe roughly how soon after this meeting could it be shared? Because I think we can give you all the vanity metrics you want on it. How many hits did we have? How many views as each share them? But I think this would be helpful for a lot of folks to have.
I can easily upload it to our YouTube channel and get it shared probably by the end of the day.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Hey, Matt, I don't have a question. I just have a comment. One of the things that, and Matt and I talked about this in our breakout meet and greet. One of the things that I think would take our program to the next level is if we could use technology to set a forum or straight to employers that want to hire veterans and have openings. Because as of right now, I think some veterans think that we just have these jobs in our back pockets that and have these established relationships. And especially because of COVID, like we haven't had really boots on the ground for a couple of years now because everything's been virtual. So and really, Maryland is a unique state. I'm originally from PA, but from just being down here for 5 years, it's really kind of split up into three sections. Like you have the Eastern Shore, and then you have the city, and then everybody else. Really, our connections is what I'm looking for to try to bring employers to us so that we can make those connections faster. Once a veteran gets to the end of our program, they can be in job ready services for 18 months. But then the regulatory requirements don't allow us to keep them on our rolls anything longer than that. So the quicker we can get veterans employed at the end of the program, it's not only better for the veterans, but it will open up more slots on the front end so then we can help more folks.
Hey,
Well,
Josh, there's some cool stuff being done over with the Maryland Department of Labor and kind of vets focused stuff. So I'll connect you with them. And then maybe we can start the conversation about how to do that more broadly. But I agree with you. I think it's exposure for your vets as well that are in the program. You know, it's kind of like when folks say, let's talk to high schoolers about what college they should go to. They've probably already made up their mind based on the major, based on the occupation. So if we're not hitting them early and often, you know, we might lose them. So I think just exposing them to, hey, these are all your options. Which one do you want? Even if they're in a very specified track or educational program, just to go, world's your oyster. It's an a la carte menu. Pick whatever you want. So I will definitely connect you with the Maryland Department of Labor and some cool stuff that they're doing, but also maybe furthering the conversation about what next. So what now?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we have a couple of things I'd like to kind of end this last kind of 5-6 minutes that we have left for this meeting. So with that, want to do another waterfall activity. And if you could put into the chat, and don't press enter yet, I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to answer this. But what other employment topics would be helpful to learn about to help your clients reach success? So again, I'll say, what other employment topics would be helpful to learn about to help your clients reach success? If you can enter that into the chat, I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. And then if you can press enter whenever I tell you to.
The anticipation for me to hit enter is killing me, Christy.
Some people are really quick typers. Others they may need a little bit more time. So
I know. I'll try and be patient.
all right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press enter. This is great. Couple of responses. Feel free to keep entering them in if you are still typing. Obviously, we want to make sure that as we prepare for part 2 of this conversation, that we have kind of what you're looking for and what we can provide to you in our next meeting as well. And with that, I want to do one more quick poll. Let me get that going. I'll give you guys just a minute to answer that one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And it looks like everybody is ready to connect. So I love that. So great feedback. Thank you all for participating today. I want to thank all of the partners on this call, including Weinberg, Headstrong, Shepherd Pratt, the Federal Executive Board, the Baltimore Station, and all of our presenters and speakers today. Thank you all for joining us and being a part of this conversation. And we look forward to seeing you again next month. The next meeting will be on April 27th, 9 a.m., same time, same place. So I encourage you to share this meeting with your colleagues, your friends, help invite others to this call. We encourage more participation, especially within the Baltimore community, to help us make the most robust collaborative possible to help the veterans in the community. So thank you all for joining today, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Christian.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I just need to say